Hello, everyone. My name is Chien, and I'm the Chief Scientist at SparkAmplify, where we provide artificially intelligent, data-driven media outreach. So whether if you're a small, medium-sized business, or if you're like me, you're a startup, I'm pretty sure you have a unique idea for a new product. So as with any new product, there's always the key component of product launch, whether it may be via crowdfunding, or it may be through a pre-order landing page, or even in one of the traditional e-commerce sites for, let's say, Amazon or eBay. Now, with any product launch, there's always risk and also some of the unknowns. And in fact, product launches can make or even break a company if you don't have a successful launch. So with SparkAmplify, we try to identify what's that success factor, which in this case is the social proof. And in terms of social proof, it's all about how to identify your early adopter, your early customers. And with the social media age nowadays, there's two methods. Obviously, one is to build your fan page on, let's say, social media, on Facebook or Twitter and so forth, which sometimes can be very costly and very time-consuming. On the other hand, another way of building social media is through influencer marketing, identifying some of the medias that can help you spread your words and tell your story. And so with SparkAmplify, what we focus on is the second half, which is how to identify these influencers and become your storyteller. And so our mission is very clear. We try to help campaigners or even marketers to identify their key storytellers and help them to become your brand advocate. So like as with any startup, we're always trying to disrupt the traditional process. And in this case, it's no different. SparkAmplify tries to disrupt the traditional PR/marketing process. So how do we do it? In the past, if you were to try to reach out to these targeted medias, the process is actually very manual intensive. It takes, let's say, days or even weeks, from the process of researching in terms of finding their contacts and reaching out and following up and so forth. So that's if you were to do it yourself. Now, let's say if you have a budget and you were able to hire someone else to do it, it's actually very expensive. The going rate to hire, let's say, a PR agency or a consultant to do something like this in terms of the media outreach may cost you up to, let's say, $5,000 to $10,000. So what's our solution? SparkAmplify basically focuses on our big data analysis. We streamline this whole process and trying to identify the most relevant target medias for you. And based on our database that we've been storing from our past campaigns and so forth, we have enough data to be able to drive this process and make it more efficient and less costly. So what are some of the things that we solve? First off, the information gatekeeper problem. In the past, makers or brand owners, when they want to reach these media, there's always an information gatekeeper, such as a PR marketing agency. Now, what we've done is we basically remove these information gatekeeper and allow the communication to be very transparent, directly from the maker to the media themselves. Secondly, there's always the agency constraint problem. PR agencies, they're very industry specific, location specific, and a lot of times their value add is based on relationships. Now, with SparkAmplify, we're all driven by big data. So we're not focused or we are not limited by specific industry, language, or so forth. So to us, we don't have that kind of constraint. And lastly, some of the influence marketing solutions out there right now in the marketplace, they provide only data or at most information. But that's not what marketers want, especially when their campaign's counting down. So with SparkAmplify, not only do we provide you with information that's relevant, but also timely and actionable. So what's our value proposition? Very clear. Number one, it's a subscription-based model. Okay, so it's not limited by how big or small your budget may be. Second, it's driven by big data analysis. So we exceed any agency constraint that might happen, especially with the traditional agency model. And lastly, because of the amount of data that we look through, and we analyze, we are basically driven by power computing, age of computers, and we are able to identify actionable intelligence for the marketers at the right time. So what are the processes that are involved? First, we learn about the product. So let's say if someone comes in and say, hey, I want to use SparkAmplify. First, we learn about what this product is via keyword, via competitor analysis, and so forth. Second, keep in mind, media are people too, so they have their preferences, they have their interests, and so forth. So what SparkAmplify does is we actually go through that research process with you. And furthermore, we have a SparkAmplify index where we measure media in terms of their reach, their influence, their engagement, and so forth. So we're able to identify who are the best media or influencers for you to be able to help spread your words. And third, with all that information, how do we present that? So we have a dashboard where we actually are able to measure your the performance based on the outreach. And furthermore, you're able to do the outreach on the dashboard itself and see the results at a timely basis. And lastly, because like I said, this is an artificially intelligence-driven process, we actually optimize the process as time goes on. So when you do the outreach, we actually learn what works and what doesn't work. And we, through reinforced learning, we actually provide you better targets for future outreaches. So what are some of the market validations currently right now for SparkAmplify? Currently, we have 25 paying customers currently on our beta model. And so because we're in beta model, we're still improving on our UI, UX. And furthermore, we're expecting to launch earlier next year. And currently, we have over 250 signed up for the launch. And so people are anxiously waiting for the launch of our service. And so why is the time right now to use SparkAmplify? As we all know, some of the common knowledge of driving traffic is through paid advertisement, such as Facebook and so forth, or Google. But as we know, advertisements, especially through these past couple of years, the cost has gone on tremendously. Furthermore, the conversion has gone down. More so, people are sort of not, sick and tired of ads. And so, in fact, there's actually a lot of ad blocking services out there. So advertisement is not the best solution nowadays to be able to identify your customers or even your early adopters. So with SparkAmplify, not only are we able to identify these individuals, but furthermore, the people that are identified through SparkAmplify, they have a longer tendency or affinity to your brand or your product, rather than just from an advertisement where they're in here for a discount or a promotion. And so what's our current progress? Like I said, we're very data-oriented. So we have over 100,000 campaigns that we monitor from the past or currently monitoring of the live campaigns. Furthermore, we have a database of over 200,000 targeted influencers, whether they may be content writers, social influencers, and so forth. So we all love success stories. So here's a case study. Nano, which is a startup, they used the SparkAmplify service, and they were able to garner over 40 medias to pick up their stories during their campaign and as well as post-campaign. And furthermore, not only for online activities such as, let's say, Kickstarter or crowdfunding, but also offline events. So imagine this. When you're about to, let's say, exhibit or demonstrate your product at a exhibition or a trade show, this is also another good time to be able to reach out to media and help them write a story about you. So like I said, the SparkAmplify not only applies to product launches online, but as well as offline. And so in this example, we were able to generate close to 18 million monthly unique traffic, as well as 1,200 social shares during the period of using SparkAmplify. So what are some of the key events that we've attended in the past? We've attended events domestically here in Taiwan, as well as events in the United States, especially in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. So we were at the Startup Conference at San Jose, and also we were at the TechCrunch Disrupt in San Francisco earlier this year. And furthermore, we're already planning for next year. Next year is going to be exciting. In 2017, we're going to be at Startup Grind, which is one of the largest premier events in Silicon Valley, especially for startups as well as for VCs. And we're also going to be in New York, reaching out to the eastern part of the market out in the US, and we're going to be at Tech Day. So next year is going to be very interesting, especially with our launch. And lastly, currently we are providing a free media analysis report. So after listening to my presentation, if you're interested in SparkAmplify, do visit our website, sign up, and you'll be able to test drive SparkAmplify for yourself. Lastly, I just want to say SparkAmplify was for you. SparkAmplify was designed by campaigners, such as ourselves, and we understand what some of the pain points that campaigners go through. And that's why we went ahead and designed a solution, a self-service solution, so that you can be able to not only manage your own media outreach without paying an arm and a leg, but also at the same time be able to understand the whole process and have the whole process be transparent for you so that you can be able to track and trace and also follow up. By the way, those are some of the projects that either have gone through using SparkAmplify or is currently using it right now. So I hope you can add on to that list as well in the future. Thanks a lot for listening.